You're welcome to the news update reaching you from the broadcast studios of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. My name is Chukwuemeka Anyukwa, and here are some of the stories we are tracking at this hour. President Muhammadu Buhari has proposed a budget of 8.612 trillion naira for the year 2018. The president gave the breakdown of the 2018 appropriation bill while addressing a joint session of the National Assembly on Tuesday. President Buhari told the lawmakers that the proposal is based on an oil benchmark of $45 per barrel, an oil production rate of 2.3 million barrels per day, an exchange rate of 3.5%, inflation rate of 12.4%, and a real GDP growth of 3.5%. According to the president, out of the 8.612 trillion naira, 3.494 trillion has been proposed for recurrent expenditure and 2.428 trillion naira for capital expenditure, excluding the capital component of statutory transfers. The Buhari administration plans to use 2.014 trillion naira for debt service, 46 billion naira for statutory transfers, and 220 billion naira as sinking fund to retire maturing bonds and pay local contractors.
Key capital spending allocation in 2018 budget are: A. Power, Works and Housing, 555.88 billion naira. Transportation, 263.1 billion naira. C. Social intervention programs, 150 billion naira. D. Defense, 145 billion naira. E. Agriculture and rural development, 118.98 billion naira. F. Water resources, 95.11 billion naira. G. Industry, trade and investment, 82.92 billion naira. H. Interior, 63.26 billion naira. I. Education, 61.73 billion naira. J. Universal Basic Education Commission, 109.06 billion naira. K. Health, 71.11 billion naira. Federal Capital Territory, 40.
As Nigeria emerges from recession, the economic recovery must be felt on the individual level by all Nigerians. Now, this is coming from Senator Bukola Saraki, who believes there is the need to take a second look at the relationship between oil and Nigeria's economy in order to secure the economic future of the country. Speaking during the presentation of the 2018 budget proposal by President Muhammadu Buhari to a joint session of the National Assembly, Saraki said Made in Nigeria goods must also be anchored on in the process of implementation of the 2018 budget. Saraki also advised President Buhari to review projects signed with private sector service providers that do not favor Nigerians. The Senate President said the government should continue to create an enabling environment for private sector businesses to thrive through its policies and spending priorities, adding that it would be in vain if bureaucracy is not eliminated. Saraki said the implementation of the 2018 budget will be a defining element of this administration, and therefore all hands must be on deck to steady the ship of Nigeria's economy recovery. While commending the efforts of the Buhari-led administration in tackling unemployment, Saraki posited that immediate steps must be taken to make the 2018 budget an employment-oriented one.
Economy from oil and the need to increase non-oil revenue generation and collection. We must ensure real value for money projects funded by borrowing, but ensure that these projects are not overpriced. We will be requiring the submission of the 2018 budget along with a finance bill that will clearly detail the imposition, alteration, or regulation of taxes. These will help a long way in putting financial proposals of government into effect. Looking around today, we see that many of our undergraduates are apprehensive about graduation day. Our National Youth Corps members are not looking forward to the end of service year for fear of being tagged unemployed. While I commend your current efforts at tackling unemployment, especially the youth through federal youth programs such as UWIN, Empower, and YES program, deliberate steps must be taken to make the 2018 budget a job-oriented one. It is in that line that we must see the implementation of the procurement law with particular reference to the part that has to do with support for made in Nigeria goods. The implementation of the 2018 budget must anchor on the Made in Nigeria project so that government procurement is reflected in this line.
In reaction to the presentation of the 2018 budget proposal by President Muhammadu Buhari to the National Assembly on Tuesday, Nigerians have taken to social media to express mixed reactions on the budget. While many were of the view that the president demonstrated much strength by standing for a long period of time despite his previous failing health, others hilariously raised observations that the budget should have made provisions for Nigerian music videos and salary for jobless youths. Members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the House of Representatives have explained that the reason they suspended their planned protest against President Muhammadu Buhari is because of the respect they have for the office of the president and that of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. The lawmakers had earlier boasted of their plan to protest when the president will present the 2018 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly. One of them, Toby Okechukwu, said the lawmakers were not happy with the pace of implementation of the 2017 budget, adding that it was not just the PDP lawmakers who had planned the protest, but also members of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Another lawmaker from Lagos State, Ogene Ego, also said the lawmakers were aggrieved because of the slow pace of implementation of the 2017 budget. He added that it was purely on principle that the lawmakers fight for the implementation, stressing that the generality of the masses are suffering. 11 persons were killed and 4 others injured when gunmen opened fire on villagers returning from the DM market in Riom, Plateau State on Tuesday night. Plateau Police Command spokesman Terna Tiopev told newsmen that the attack took place around 7:30 p.m. when gunmen attacked villagers who were returning home from a local market, killing 11 people instantly. He said that those injured have been taken to Christian Hospital Vom, adding that no arrest has been made so far. Tiopev appealed to the affected community to be calm and resist the temptation to take the law into their hands, adding that more security personnel had been deployed to secure the area. It was reported that the Tuesday attack is the latest in a series of violence visited on rural communities in Plateau State in the past few weeks. The state, which suffered massive violence for more than a decade, enjoyed uninterrupted peace for 2 years before the gunmen returned in September. The Anglican Bishop of Maiduguri Diocese, the Right Reverend Emmanuel Morris, has commended officers and men of the 7th Division of Nigerian Army for the active role and services rendered by the division in combating Boko Haram terrorists in the state. The bishop gave this commendation during a courtesy visit to the headquarters of the 7th Division of the Nigerian Army in Maimalari Cantonment, Maiduguri in Borno State. The bishop, who is a trained soldier in the Nigerian Army, noted that God used the military to salvage the northeast from Boko Haram invasion, adding that God will reward them. The acting general officer commanding 7th Division, Brigadier General Ibrahim Mani Yusuf, In his response, thanked the bishop for the visit, which he said is a spiritual upliftment to the division and the entire troops of Operation Lafia Dole. He noted that religious harmony is key to sustainable peace in a secular society like Nigeria and called for better understanding and tolerance among religious leaders in the country. The GOC also used the opportunity of the visit to solicit for support of the religious leaders in the ongoing operation to flush out Boko Haram from the region by giving relevant information that will aid the troops in their operation. This is the news update coming to you from the broadcast studios of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria. More stories when we return. Do join us again.
We have the man, Jesus. The man of power and authority. The Divine Commonwealth Conference of Nigeria, DIVCON, of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion invites you to encounter the awaited and expected man of the gospel according to John 5:1-11 from 13 to 17 November 2017. National and global anointed men and women of God, saints and pilgrims, disciples and teachers will expound and receive the divine knowledge and healing of the man Jesus in every area of our lives through worship, praise, prayer and living testimonies. DIVCON venue, the National Christian Center, Abuja, at 8 a.m. daily. Convener, His Grace, the Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, Primate of all Nigeria Anglican Communion.
You're welcome back. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at www.acnntv.com and youtube.com/ACNNTV. To keep in touch with our up-to-date news and programs on the go, download the ACNN app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. The family of former Vice President Dr. Alex Ekwueme has dismissed the report making the rounds that the elder statesman is dead. The family said the posts, which emerged on social media, were unfounded, as the elder statesman is still alive and his health condition improving. Ekwueme was last week reported to have collapsed and admitted at the intensive care unit of Memphis Hospital for neurosurgery in Enugu State. Following this critical condition, President Muhammadu Buhari was also reported to have approved immediate medical treatment for the former vice president abroad. But news broke on social media that Ekwueme had passed on during the weekend in a London hospital, prompting the family to issue a statement that described the rumor of his death as wicked and untrue. In a statement by the family spokesman, Mr. Uche Ezechukwu, the Ekwueme family said that the elder statesman is not only alive and well, but he is improving considerably and can now receive visitors. The Archbishop of Enugu Ecclesiastical Province of Anglican Church, the Most Reverend Emmanuel Chukwuma, has dismissed reports that ailing former Vice President Chief Alex Ekwueme has passed on. Archbishop Chukwuma, who spoke to newsmen after visiting Ekwueme at the Memphis Hospital of Neurosurgery, Enugu, said Ekwueme is one of the Archbishop's parishioners at the Cathedral of the Good Shepherd, Independence Layout, Enugu. He debunked the rumor making rounds that the former Vice President of the Federal Republic is dead, attributing it to the handiwork of mischief makers. Archbishop Chukwuma disclosed that efforts were in top gear to fly him abroad, as the federal government had already finalized arrangements in that regard. Christian leaders in the country have called on the National Assembly to prevail on the federal government to withdraw from the Organization of Islamic Conference and other international religious bodies. They made a call at a gathering of prominent Christian leaders in the country at the Shepherd Hill Baptist Church, Obanikoro, Lagos, where they discussed the challenges facing the church in the country. Those in attendance at the meeting, called by the President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, included the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, among others. The media aide to the current president, Pastor Adebayo Oladeji, said in a statement in Abuja that the forum condemned the government's decision to lead Nigeria into the Islamic coalition against terrorism through an executive fiat. Also part of CAN's call on the National Assembly is to compile the list of all organizations that Nigeria belongs to and all the treaties signed with a view to dropping all the religious groups. CAN also called on the National Assembly to prevail on the states in the north to issue certificates of occupancy to churches in the region. The group also admonished the federal government to address the breakdown of infrastructure in the nation so as to stop the untimely death of the citizens and medical tourism abroad. Khan advised the government to declare a state of emergency on unemployment in the nation and to set up a machinery towards the provision of employment for graduates and also pay workers' salaries and allowances as at when due. The Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN, is your most reliable gospel TV station that brings to you quality TV programming which build your spiritual life and enhance your walk with God through the undiluted Word of God. Join us on our social media platforms anytime you miss your favorite program. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with the address www.youtube.com/ACNNTV and click that video that matters to you.
Protect your vote is a euphemistic way of saying do everything to make sure you can share blood, you can kill to ensure that the person you voted for is the one that emerged as winner at the end of the day.
There is never a dull moment on our Facebook page as we are dedicated to keep you informed with the up-to-date news about the church and other information. Just log on to www.facebook.com/ACNNTV for you can now watch some of our programs live on your mobile device. Follow us on Twitter with the handle at ACNNTV.com and you'll be glad you did. So now, there is no longer regret each time you miss any episode of your favorite programs as you can now watch them on the go, anytime, anywhere. ACNN. We are indeed reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God. You're welcome back. Now, on the foreign scene, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has harped on the need for African leaders to reconcile their differences with opponents in order to move the continent forward. The Archbishop was speaking at the All Saints Cathedral, Nairobi, Kenya, during the centenary celebration of the Mother Church, attended by the Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta, the country's opposition leader Raila Odinga, and the Supreme Court Chief Justice David Maraga. Archbishop Justice Welby said that the importance of reconciliation cannot be overemphasized, especially in the lives of Christians who he says should be reconcilers.
A Christian people will be reconciled reconcilers. They will deal well with disagreement. They will know how to forgive, how to stand for truth and not to hate or fight, how to rule or to oppose, and how to make a nation whole and healed. Reconciliation, tragically, is profoundly rare.
In his hard-hitting sermon, Archbishop Justin Welby said that Kenya should be a model of reconciliation, for it is the cradle of human beings.
This land is the cradle of human beings. Human life started here. In so many countries, including my own, including this one, there is a need for reconciliation. It must become part of our DNA, part of Kenya's DNA. I'm not talking about results and outcomes of elections. That would be interference by me as an ignorant outsider. But I'm talking about how disagreements are dealt with, because that is the call of the pastor, as has been shown by the churches and many, many others in this land. I'm not calling for mediation, but for the steady and long-term work of building structures of reconciliation, the capacity to deal with the nation's challenges in a way that brings peace and a future, even when there is deep disagreement.
I think we heard your message of reconciliation. And I hope that every single person in this room has also heard that message.
Kenyans must get justice. In other words, if we talk about electoral justice, the votes must count. When people go to the ballot to vote, that vote as cast there at the polling station must be the same vote that is counted at the tallying center. Until we do that, we will not have justice in this country.
The service, which was the first meeting for the two presidential aspirants since the October elections, saw the aspirants in a warm handshake after the sermon. The Anglican Church in Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia will on December 3, 2017 celebrate the 40th anniversary of the province's first female ordination, with New Zealand having ordained 5 women in 1977, being one of the first churches that did so. As part of activities to mark the celebration, the Council for Anglican Women's Studies in New Zealand has produced a commemorative Eucharistic liturgy prepared by the Archdeacon of Auckland, Carol Hughes, and a group of advisors from the 3 cultural streams of the province. The new liturgy, which also had inputs from some of the top leaders of the church, cutting across the clergy and laity in the province, seeks to celebrate all women's contributions to church leadership in the province's islands. With the first ordination done 40 years ago by the Bishop of Auckland, New Zealand now has 500 female ordained priests and still counting. The Primate of the Episcopal Church of the United States of America, Archbishop Michael Corey, has called for prayers for the bereaved and the victims of the Texas church shooting. Archbishop Corey made this call during a Thanksgiving service held in St. Andrew's Cathedral Church in Glasgow, Scotland. Bishop Corey registered his displeasure over the gruesome murder of 26 innocent persons at First Baptist Church, Sutherland Springs, Texas, an act he described as senseless and highly condemnable. Corey calls on Christian faithful all around the world to join hands and pray for the speedy healing and recovery for those who have been hurt physically, spiritually, mentally, or otherwise, and for the protection of the society from such tragedy in future. And that's a wrap on the news update. Thank you so much for watching. I am Chukwemeka Lum Anyokwa. God bless you.